Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast of an upcoming EKN Trackside live event. The event we're talking about today will be the finale for the 2022 United States Pro Kart Series, the Heartland Grand Prix at Newcastle Motorsports Park. My name is Rob Howden. David Cole, of course, here to give us the deep dive as he'll be heading down to Newcastle this week to cover the event. This edition of the OutLap, episode number 44, recorded today here, September 13th, 2022. The show brought to you by Hyperfuels. Need race fuel and oil? Hyperfuels is an authorized distributor for several brands that are spec fluids in American karting, including ELF and Aspen Sport. They also stock and ship methanol. Hyperfuels has a web store that can take your orders 24/7, and they ship UPS. That's right, Hyperfuels can ship fuel and oil right to your door. Whether you need ELF Racing Fuels or ELF HTX 909 oil or Aspen Sport 98 octane fuel for SCUSA competition, they have it in stock. When you need it now, go to hyperfuels.com. Hyperfuels also looking for new dealers. All right, David Cole, let's jump into this thing. The weekend, September 15th to the 18th. So many of the national series kind of locked and loaded already. Time for the United States Pro Kart Series to cap off their 2022 season.
Yeah, a unique season, being that it's the fourth event. The United States Pro Kart Series has been three for the last several years now, going back to four. And again, one of the biggest and largest years in the 10-year history of the program, with, over 200 entries at every event, and especially the opener that was over 300. So massive numbers throughout the year. And wrapping it up at Newcastle, very, very familiar place for the United States Pro Kart Series, having been there all 10 years of the program.
Yeah, rounds 7 and 8 of an 8-round program, as David had said, 4 weekends this year. They count the best of 7, so drivers able to drop one event throughout the year. David, 10th season of the program, obviously big for the USPKS. A full decade in. They'll roll, of course, next year into the 11th season, but some longevity in our sport provided by the SCUSA Pro Tour and by the USPKS as well.
Without a doubt, yeah. The United States Pro Kart Series has been a consistent one here on the eastern side of the United States, and just continues to grow as we talk about. And again, bringing drivers all across the country, Canada, and other countries as well too. And excited to wrap up what is a historic 10th season.
All right, so the funny thing is you're obviously going to be at Newcastle about 100 times for the rest of this year. I think you have, 4 events to cap the season, or just the 3 now left to go?
Well, if you count summer nationals, it'll be 4 out of the 5 trips. We'll be at Newcastle. So
crazy.
So I was at Rock Island recently, Labor Day weekend. I was at Summer Nationals at the beginning of August, and the next 3 events will all be at Newcastle Motorsports Park.
All right, so what's the weather going to be like? Are they going to get a good weekend? We're talking mid-September. It's usually a pretty nice time in Indiana.
Thankfully, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. Again, you never quite know when you get to Indiana, and especially out in the cornfields of Newcastle, Indiana. But right now, again, less than 7% chance of precipitation for all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're going to be in the mid-80s. So hopefully that means no humidity and comfortable weather all weekend long.
One of the cool things about Newcastle is that it does obviously play host to a lot of different series, but it has so many potential layouts on that racetrack that you really can differentiate yourself from the other programs that are running there. They're going to run the 1 mile national layout counterclockwise direction. David, let's talk a little bit about the track itself and the layout that they're going to be using.
Yeah, it's going back to the original national layout, counterclockwise direction. I know we've had the summer nationals in the reverse national layout, or USPKS, and back in, I think it was 2020 or last year did the Monza section. So this year it's just going to be the typical counterclockwise direction of the national layout, the original constructed circuit that was made in 2003, the original mile layout that we're all familiar with, we've all been part of, and seen a lot of history made there. And so again, it's just it's back to basics, I think, for the finale, and make it simple and easy. And competitors now have to put it all on the lines for the last 2 rounds.
One of the keys to the USPKS season this year was kind of a mid-calendar adjustment in terms of the way they were approaching qualifying. They had it on Friday making that a move midway through the season to get back to Saturday and Sunday individual qualifying on separate days. What does the event schedule look like now for this finale for this year's USPKS program?
Yeah, what we saw at Road America was the change to the standard format where Friday is just practice. That's all it is, in the words of Allen Iverson.
Right.
So yeah, 5 rounds of practice on Friday. We'll have happy hour at the end of the day. And then Saturday, we will get into round 7 with warm up, qualifying. Pre-finals are going to be 10 laps, 10 for only the cadet divisions. And then pre-final or LCQs will be run for KA 100 senior. That is the only category that will be split up for their pre-finals, and then run a LCQ of 8 laps. And then the main events will be 18 for the 2 pro categories, 16 for the remainder divisions, and then 14 for cadet.
And again, coverage throughout the weekend, folks. Of course, you can listen to the live audio on the EKN Radio Network. Kart Chaser will have live video as well. David will be there trackside throughout the entire weekend with all his coverage on social media, all, of course, the daily race reports, you name it. All right, time for our first break in the action. This edition of the OutLap Preview Podcast, as we talk about the USPKS finale at Newcastle Motorsports Park. When we get into the next section, David will go by the numbers. Talked about how great the season started with 323 entries at the opening round at Orlando. We'll have a look how things are lining up for the finale here at Newcastle. Don't go anywhere. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, SCUSA Super Nationals 25, and other events throughout the 2022 season. TKG has in stock Kart Republic, IAME, MG and Avinco tires, and more products for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history of the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. Welcome back to the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast of this coming weekend's USPKS finale. As I mentioned before the break, and David mentioned earlier when we were off the top of the show, 323 entries at Orlando for the season opener back in the late winter. Tremendous way to start the season. It's tapered off a little bit, obviously. Big numbers at GoPro at 308. Road America, a longer hike up into Wisconsin, 238 entries there. David, how are things looking right now coming into the finale?
Numbers are looking pretty good. Not what we saw earlier in the first half, but again, you would expect that. Again, the 4th event on the schedule. We're into September. People aren't concerned with getting the early championship points. So we're only at 229, which is down just under 50 of last year where we had 270. But that was at a different time of the year. That was end of April, beginning of May. So again, of course, you're going to get different numbers. And again, just a lot of different factors. It's the end of the season. People are starting to, pick and choose where they go, but still overall very solid numbers for 7 categories on the weekend.
Yeah, interesting as I look at the numbers here. KA 100 senior down only 5, KA 100 junior down actually up 4, so 55 for the seniors, 47 for the juniors. Micro Swift actually up 1. Mini Swift's up 1. Micro Swift actually down 9, which is interesting for me to see Micro Swift drop. It's the pro drivers, David. There's a significantly less pros, 14 less X30 pros, only 24 in X30 Pro. You have to think potentially those guys looking down the road to races like, the Rock Vegas and Super Nationals.
Or just the fact that Ryan Norberg has 6 straight victories coming into the weekend.
True enough. Ryan Norberg's dominance may have scared some people away. True.
Well, that could be part of it. Even in the micro division, maybe their kid isn't quite ready to be there at the national level. So maybe they're backing off, or school's a factor. You don't want to pull the kids out for a full, 2 days, maybe even 3 days, depending on your travel schedule. So again, because they have the Thursday practice, again, that limits the amount of school time. So that could be a number of factors for micro, for X30 junior as well too. But X30 junior has been typically around that mid-20s number all season long in USPKS.
Yeah, all in all, another one of the bigger drops, down 12 for X30 Masters. We've seen a lot of issues with Masters around the country. 26 last year at Newcastle, 14 on the docket for this coming weekend, the finale with 14 drivers. Again, all of 2021, over 250 entries over the last 2 years. The only one to drop below 250 was Road America at 238 this year. I would expect, David, I don't know, what do you think about walk-ups? Do you think we'll get Newcastle, the finale this weekend, over 250?
That's a good question, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on that. I know of a couple people that are going to be possible walk-up entries. So, the 230 mark is going to be beat. We're going to surpass that. It's getting up to that 240 mark, I think, is probably going to be the next next task, or next docket. Next
threshold.
Yes, that's a good word I was looking for.
The interesting thing is, we talk about the fact that, the USPKS only going to draw 240, right? That's what USPKS has become. 240 is a massive race anywhere in the country, and it's their low water mark. So I think that just speaks volumes to everything that's going on with Mark Coates and his crew. All right, let's go to another break, because it's time to go class by class in the next segment. X30 Pro, David already mentioned the domination on the season by Ryan Norberg, has won all 6 races so far this year. We'll look at X30 Pro and KA 100 Senior after this break. The new face of competitive karting in the Pacific Northwest region is RaceLab. The full-service karting operation is located at the state-of-the-art Kartplex facility in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, providing everything you need to hit the track or put yourself in a successful driver development program. RaceLab is the official North American distributor for the TB Kart chassis brand, providing the full range of models from kid kart to shifter kart. Villeneuve Racing Karts is their flagship product, available only through RaceLab. The brand carries the name of Formula One champion and Indianapolis 500 winner Jacques Villeneuve, with each model produced by TB Kart. Kartplex, the home of RaceLab, is situated on the grounds of the Area 27 Motorsports Park. From full arrive and drive TB Kart rentals to leagues and competition karting, the facility provides a new home to developing the future stars of motorsports, all beginning at Kartplex with RaceLab. Follow RaceLab on social media on Facebook and Instagram, or load up their website at www.theracelab.ca to learn more about TB Kart and Villeneuve Racing Karts. RaceLab. Race with us, win with us. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors of the sport, to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. Welcome back to the EKN OutLap, episode 44 of our preview podcast, part of our EKN Trackside live coverage. Rob Howden alongside David Cole. Of course, David will be trackside. Our man Nate Dean will be down there as well. David, X30 Pro, 24 entries for the show. You mentioned it. It's just been a dominating year. Maybe the best year of his career for Ryan Norberg, coming off, of course, the Scoop Supercarts USA Super Nationals win last November. 6 straight victories, locks the title down already. Everybody else battling for second.
Yeah, I would consider the last 12 months out of Ryan Norberg's career probably the best. Again, it'll be determined, how things go at Super Nationals and also how it's going to go this weekend. Yeah. He has the opportunity to become the first driver in the pro category to sweep the year and win all 8 main events on the season. So that's going to be the talking point in this category and then who's going to step up or among those who are going to be in contention throughout the weekend. Mathematically, again, you look at it mathematically, Weinberg, Massimino, they're still in it, even though they're 558 points back and 572 points back respectively. But again, you never know about disqualifications. If Ryan Norberg happens to throw a banana peel like he did this past weekend, it could result in unsportsmanlike conduct. So you never know. So we'll just put it out there. It's not officially confirmed that he is champion yet.
All right, then. Hayden Jones, 4th in the championship. Jack Jeffers rounding out the top 5 in the points. What other notes do we have? What else are we going to be looking for? Anybody back at the track or somebody that maybe hasn't been there in the last couple of races?
Well, again, who's going to be those that challenge? Obviously, Weinberg, Massimino, Jones, Jeffers. Those are all names that we've talked about all season long. Cicero, Nate Cicero is another driver, RPG teammate of Ryan Norberg's. He's coming back behind the wheel of a Kart after focusing his attention on the Spec MX5 program that he won the scholarship for at the end of last year. So he'll be back behind the wheel of a Kart. Comp Kart's coming in with 2 solid drivers. And when you talk about Oliver Hodgson and Joshua Carr, a former Super Nationals winner, wow. I mean, that's those are two guns to put to your side in the holster.
Yeah, that's a 1-2 punch for sure.
Without a doubt. So it'll be interesting to see them. We know Carr hasn't been in a Kart, at least competitively, in a while. So we'll see how the rust kind of shakes off. But Hodgson, he's been winning in 100cc competition, West Coast, East Coast. So he'll be moving that jump up into the 125 program, but he certainly should be there as well, too.
Yeah, looking at the entry list that you sent over to me as well, we saw Marian Kremers back in the on the grid for USBKS as well.
Yeah, he showed well at Road America, battling with Norberg and fighting for podium positions. Didn't quite show that at Summer Nationals when we went to Newcastle after that weekend. So we'll see if it bounces back. He's coming off the 16th finish at the KZ World Championship. So maybe that'll, a little intensify him to get to try and knock off Norberg's winning streak. So maybe that'll get him going. He'll be alongside Diego Ramos, coming back for his 3rd outing with PSL Karting, who actually just signed Mauricio Hernandez from Costa Rica. So a new driver joining the Red Army at PSL Karting.
24 drivers in total ready to line up, at least with pre-entries for X30 Pro. In the KA100 Senior, more than double that, 55 entries in total. A number of different winners on the season so far. Brandon Lemke, Alex Stanfield, Jeremy Fletcher, and Race Liberante have all tasted victory in the KA100 Senior class. Fletcher comes in, though, with the point lead, but this one's a good one, David. 3 drivers within 45 points, Fletcher, Lemke, and Stanfield, all ready to face off for the championship.
Yeah, something about this category that winds to interesting championship scenarios going into the finale weekend. We saw that with Austin Osborne in the Supercarts Pro Tour one year. I think it was 17 or 18, maybe even 19. I can't remember what year it was. But this is going to be a good one. Fletcher's the only driver, and I think this is why he's leading the championship, with 3 podium results. Lemke and Stanfield only have 2, and those are both their victories. So,
wow. Okay.
So Fletcher, again, it's about consistency when you look at championships, especially when you consider best 7 out of 8. And Fletcher right now has that advantage with 3 podium results, including just 1 victory, though, for him. So if he's to add another victory, that's going to certainly help him out in the long run for the championship.
And there is a lot of heavy hitters in this class. Like, you just scroll down alphabetically, right? You look at the Bailiff brothers, Finnegan and Gavin, who have been doing well. Gavin, I think, had a great run. I think did he get one of the victories at the Stars Championship? I think you got John Burke, Gia Cicero. We've seen her on the podium this year as well. You got Adrian Cruz, Connor Ferris, Chase Hand. I'm only going halfway down through. Josh Holtz, that's to the H's. You can take the rest of the alphabet, David, but this is a stacked grid for KA 100 Senior.
Yeah, Aiden Rudolph getting back to the 100cc side of things, so he'll be back in this group. Nicholas Terlecki, he's coming off victory at Route 66 at Autobahn. Coming back to USBKS competition, Emerson Reed, he's been doing a lot of Route 66 racing, so this is his first event back at USBKS. We'll see if he's able to be towards the front end of the grid. Another name to watch, just to kind of see how he does, Christian Miles. He's making the move up into the senior ranks this weekend, racing KA 100 Senior. So be interesting to see where he kind of shakes out racing against a very stacked field of KA 100 Senior drivers.
Other than the end of the career, you've got Christian Miles, pretty young. You got the veteran TJ Coyen come back out. Who convinced TJ to come racing? I like it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I thought Road America was a one and done for him,
but
yeah, it looks like I think he's getting all the racing in before his second child is born. So I think that's the goal. It's a good mission statement. Maybe we'll get him out to Vegas too. I'm not quite sure on the due date. So we'll see what we can do with that.
He sounds like a guy you should put on the hot seat for an interview on Friday at the racetrack.
Well, now that I know he's going to be there, I've actually had him on my list, and
nice.
So that'll might be a good one.
All right, let's go to the next break. When we come back, we'll go X30 Junior, KA 100 Junior, and X30 Masters. This edition of the OutLap rolling on as David Cole, of course, will be heading south to Newcastle very soon for this weekend's finale, the race to wrap up the 2022 season. We get back, as I said, X30 Junior.
Are you ready to go from karts to cars? Since 1975, the Skip Barber Racing School has taken great drivers and made them champions. Today, we're proud to welcome the next generation of winners. Make the transition from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Formula Race Series. You'll compete at the most iconic tracks in America. Race weekends include your very own equalized Formula 4 race car, a professional crew, expert instruction, video and data analysis, hospitality, and more. This is the place to fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. Sign up today by calling 866-932-1949 or visit us at skipbarber.com.
All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the U.S., OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Prix chassis, and now the new Red Speed and EOS brands, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, the United States Pro Kart Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line, you can find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Prix, Red Speed, or EOS. Visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. Welcome back to episode 44 of the EKN OutLap. This show brought to you by Hyperfuels. Check them out at hyperfuels.com. X30 Junior will be the next category that David and I will jump into. 25 pre-entries in total. 3 victors on the season. Caleb Gaffera, Aiden Ingrata, and Cameron Brinkman have all scored wins. Brinkman seems like he's got a pretty good bit of momentum right now. He's really kind of stepping things up. Gaffera and Ingrata, we know, have been right in the hunt all year long. Gaffera with a SCUSA Pro Tour championship already. But, man, we got 3 drivers in the fight with interestingly, it's actually Max Garcia leading the way, 63 points over Gaffera, although he has not won a race yet. It's been that amazing consistency for the Florida driver Max Garcia, who leads the points coming in.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the Iceman, but we got to find out another word for consistent.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good nickname because that's exactly what Max Garcia is. He's always up front. He's always in the hunt. You know, sometimes just things don't shake out his way, but he's certainly been there the whole time. And now he has the opportunity to come in with a championship lead and leave Newcastle as a champion. Again, only 63 points back, or only 63 points ahead of Caleb Gaffera, who's got 3 victories on the year. And then Ingrata, 89 points back with 2 victories of his own.
Christian Miles was coming in 4th in points with 256. He's moving up to senior, as David had mentioned. Teddy Masella will likely could potentially battle now into 4th, but no Cameron Brinkman. I mentioned how he's been the kind of driver with gaining some momentum. We've seen him on running up front, winning some races. Any idea why Brinkman right now? No show.
I was not able to connect with him, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it could be just, focusing on school. And I know he's into other sporting events, so it could possibly be, not to scheduling conflict with that type of event. So
we know, we'll see. There's so much racing, right? We talked about this, ad nauseum, that there's just so much racing going on. Some of these guys, they get back to school. It's football, basketball, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah, and like you said, he had a great momentum going in towards the end of the summer season. So it's tough to kind of end. He just came off winning as a sub driver at the Route 66 program and KA100 Junior for Ava Hansen.
Yep.
So he's certainly got momentum on his side. So again, we'll have to wait and see if he's a show up on race weekend.
Yeah, just throw some other names out there I think will be pretty good. Oscar Iliff, obviously, always quick. Maybe Ernesto Rivera. Look at Charlie Smith, Max Taylor. Enzo Vidmontien moving to a new team with Motaz Sport as well. Sebastian Weldon coming off a huge SCUSA Pro Tour finale as well, David. So there's a lot of guys that are going to be able to battle Garcia, Gaffera, and Ingrata for race wins.
Yeah, I would assume Weldon's going to be the driver everybody's going to chase early on. He has that momentum from the Summer Nationals, being the quickest driver all weekend long. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the quickest come happy hour on Friday.
I agree. Moving into KA100 Juniors, I said 25 in X30 Junior, almost double that in KA100 at 47. Garcia actually leading the points again in the junior categories. He leads both USPKS point championships coming into Newcastle in the finale, but he was able to get victories, David, in the KA class, winning twice. Elio Mesa with the win, Gaffera with a couple of victories as well, Miller with a win. He leads the points, Garcia by 81 points, or Parker DeLong, as you have noted here, potentially maybe the last junior race for Parker DeLong.
Yeah, we've seen him in Shifter and X30 Senior already in Superkarts USA competition. So he started the year off in the junior categories at USPKS program back in March at Orlando. So I assume this is probably going to be his last junior race as he sits there second in the championship. Only 81 points back. And again, not a victory on his record. So he's been pretty consistent up front all season long. Again, he's good at Newcastle. He's shown that, especially in this layout. He knows how to get his way around there. So he could be a factor in the championship with a victory or two for sure.
Yeah, Garcia's going to need to keep that consistency because he's got a lot of drivers ready to battle it out. Cooper Shipman, Caleb Gaffera, 4th and 5th in points. A lot of big drivers as I look over quickly here at the entry list. But one drivers I don't see, David, and we mentioned this before in a couple of other categories, but Elio Mesa, I don't see him down there. He's P4 in the championship, or P3, I think, right? In the battle coming in. Yeah, he's 3rd.
Sitting 3rd in the championship. I was able to connect with him. He is going to be racing KA100 Junior on the weekend. So he's not double duty, but not on the entry list, but will be there this weekend.
Yeah, other guns, of course, Oliver Weldon, Cooper Shipman. We mentioned him already. Talked a little bit about Stephen Miller, already a winner with Chad Dawkin Racing. He'll be in the fight for sure. Any other names, David, that pop out to you that maybe we should mention as well?
Yeah, a little update on Miller. He's actually on the Kart Republic with Chad Dawkin Racing. So,
really?
Okay. He was at the SCUSA or the USPKS warm-up weekend at Newcastle this past weekend, and so he's got seat time under his belt there on the Kart Republic on the national layout. So I would expect him to see him battling up front and maybe getting another victory as well on the year.
We talked earlier when we went by the numbers about a drop a bit in the X30 Masters class, 14 drivers in total coming in. Danilo Ramalho, 3 wins on the season. Renato Jadre David, Mario Barrios, and Chris Wareheim all scoring victories on the season as well. Barrios with a 44-point lead over Ramalho. Scott Roberts only back by 92, so there's still a lot there as well. Scott Kopp could jump in if he's able to sweep the weekend. He's 133 back. So still a lot of storylines happening, David, for X30 Master.
Yeah, when you start factoring the drops, it gets a little bit closer. I don't have all the exact numbers as I just had started completing my Excel sheet. So you got a 154 drop for Roberts. You got a 169 for Kopp. You got a 143 for the Ramalho, and you got a 174 for Barrios. So it's going to be shaken up a little bit based on drops. But coming into the weekend right now, Ramalho is a question mark. As I contacted him, he's not sure yet, as of a couple hours ago, if he's going to be at Newcastle this weekend. So really? I think he'll be determining that by tomorrow, and will let us know. So that could be another championship shakeup as well if he doesn't show up and race.
I believe they call that a game time decision.
That is correct, sir. It could be. So it's a questionable, or is it doubtful? I think it's almost doubtful.
Wow. Okay.
Would be the, if I were to use the NFL ranking,
exactly.
It would be doubtful.
We just finished up the first weekend, so I figured I'd throw that in there. Nicky Coelho.
Yeah. By the way, go Bears. By the way,
go Seahawks, baby.
Yeah, Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, big win last night.
Who would have thought a former Jets quarterback would help the Seahawks win?
100%. 15 seconds, David. They paid $200-something million to get Russell Wilson, and they don't go for it.
Rob, that's been the talk all day long on sports radio. It's like serious. It's like having a Lamborghini in your garage, and then you drive a Ford Escort.
That's exactly. Other drivers to watch for, like I said, Nicky Coelho. Good to see his name down there. Laurent Toumardan on the Techno Kart coming to play as well. Martin Stone rolling in for Racing Edge Motorsports. Couple of extra players coming in for this one here for the finale.
Well, yeah, the numbers haven't been quite there, but the competition level is certainly at a all time for this category with the names that are in this field. Miguel Mir, another one. It's just you can. All these guys are going to be contenders at the Super Nationals. Yeah. They're contenders everywhere they go. Renato Jadre David for sure is going to be one of those drivers that is going to be gunning for victories, even though he's not in the championship. So,
all right, folks, final full course yellow, final pit stop. We get back after this mini Swift, micro Swift, and we'll cap it all off on this edition of the OutLap. Powered by technology, DID racing chains have a worldwide reputation for superior quality and reliability. Meticulously engineered and manufactured in Japan, DID genuine parts are the world's #1 original parts supplier for Japanese and European motorcycle manufacturers. A rich racing tradition where results speak for themselves, DID prides itself on engineering the most technologically advanced chains on the market to help you excel on and off the track. DID's SDH pin treatment creates an extremely hard chromium carbide layer on the pin surface that houses a soft inner core to absorb extreme shock loads. DID's 219 HTZ racing chain boasts this SDH pin technology, which leads to longer chain life as well as excellent energy transmission to the wheels. Available in the gorgeous gold, the 219 HTZ is the ultimate racing kart chain. Pick up a DID chain at your local dealer today, because when winning is the only thing that matters, go with DID. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting. and we're primed and ready for the 2022 season with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 is our new chassis for tag and shifter racing, and it's been designed specifically for the U.S. market. The KT5 features 30mm construction with a 32mm front loop to increase front grip. CRG's new Ben 13 brake system is cutting-edge technology with a master cylinder that allows for pressure regulation within the system. Drivers can customize brake pressure to their own requirements to improve feel and to avoid brake lockup. The Kart is finished with new KG 507, 508 bodywork that has refined aerodynamics and reduced weight. For cadet drivers, the 2022 CRG Black Mirror is already logging positive results to start the new season. This chassis will be making big waves in 2022. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. With four-cycle racing enjoying consistent growth in North America, CRG's FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. CRG Nordam has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com. Welcome back. Sprint to the finish here to cap things off for the episode 44 of our EKN OutLap, our preview of this coming weekend's USPKS finale at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Rob Howden alongside David Cole, who will be trackside throughout the weekend. Mini Swift, David, 38 entries all total. Salvador Della Vecchia, Tyler Roberts, and Keelan Harvick have won this year. Harvick, 4 victories, 190-point lead over Carson Weinberg coming into the finale.
You almost said Kevin, didn't you?
I did not say Kevin, and I did not say, and I did not say Travis.
And Travis?
I did not say it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So you got to love that, all the second generation or even third generation drivers are out there.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%.
It's fun to mix up their names, but yeah, Harvick certainly has a kind of stranglehold, not quite the Norberg stranglehold that in the championship, but he does have the 4 straight victories coming into the weekend. Newcastle, another track he's successful at, knows it very well, and certainly he'll be able to either go for the wins or play the championship card on the weekend, and everything will be in his favor for sure.
Yeah.
But Weinberg, obviously he's fast enough. It'll be great to see if Weinberg can finally get that win on the season. He's been so close all year long. Roberts already has that victory, so he's obviously thirsty for more, and that's only going to help him in the championship hunt. So he's going to need 2 victories for sure in order to try and take down Harvick.
Yeah, Tyler Roberts, P3, as we had said. Asher Augstein, 4th. Lucas Palacio, 5th. Palacio on the entry list to roll in. He's looking for that first big victory in the USPKS program as well. But David notes here, what's up with Asher Augstein? Are we going to see him or not?
No, I was able to confirm he will not be at Newcastle this weekend. So that'll shake up, the top 5 in championships. That's one of the things we didn't talk about. They award championship prizes all the way through the top 5. So with Asher not being there this weekend, that essentially might take him out of the top 5 in the championship chase and kind of give prize to somebody else. I mean, we're talking $750 or $750 for 4th, plus an entry next year for 4th place in all the categories in the championship.
Wow.
And then $500 plus an entry to somewhere next year for 5th place in the championship. So pretty good prizes there for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, a couple of the drivers to watch out for that could be running in top 10, top 5. I look at Ty Fisher, Isaac Malkit, of course. We mentioned third-generation drivers. There's one right there. Tristan Murphy could be in there. Marco Romero, we've seen him show extremely well. He'll be with Nash Motorsports this coming weekend. Caleb Tarter, Alessandro Truchot, Sam Tutwiler, all drivers, David, I think could find themselves into the top 10 of what will be a 38-kart field.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of who can hang on the draft.
True.
That's the Newcastle special.
Yeah,
is if you can stay in that lead group, keep it clean and stay out of trouble and be there for the last lap, anything can happen.
Let's move to Micro Swift. I know we got some good stuff to talk about because USPKS coming out with a statement essentially on Facebook and their social media last couple of days. 26 entries in total. Marco Samet, Simone, Woon, and Vega, all the drivers that have been able to score wins. Ashton Woon with 3 gives him a lead of 209 points over Jackson Gibson. But I think the key thing to look at here right now, David, is with Simone. Who comes in, Rocco Simone coming in, moving up a little more because there was an issue at Road America. I'm talking a little bit about how that has changed and how it's reinstated him back into third in points.
Well, he sits third currently, and that because all the points that we have right now are based on the disqualification he received at Road America, and that was due to the airbox tube not being valid. I believe it was too short. And IAME and USPKS just announced this week that they have become aware that manufacturing issues are sending out a number of tubes that are too short and are not at the actual length they're supposed to be. So that has allowed them to kind of reinstate the results that will be for Sunday at Road America. So once USPKS gets those results reinstated, they'll update the points and we'll kind of see where things shake out. But I got to believe that moves Simone up ahead of Gibson in the championship for sure and brings them closer to Woon. So it could be a little bit of a battle in this championship we'll have a little bit of an update on that probably once we get Trackside Friday morning, because then we'll have the updated points by then. And kind of figure out what needs to be done for Woon or Gibson or Simone to be a champion in 2022.
Benjamin Fernandez, 4th in points. Marco Samet back there in 5th. Interesting thing. Do we have Fernandez? Have you been able to confirm whether Fernandez is coming to the event or not?
Yeah, Fernandez will not be at the event, was able to confirm that with Sean Bailiff of Trinity Karting Group. So a health issue keeping them away from the track this weekend. So we hope the best for the Fernandez family.
One of the things we've seen over the last number of years, it happens through mini, micro, and junior that keep moving forward. This could be a big way for Ashton Woon to cap off his micro career with a championship, maybe a couple of victories here and a championship in the USPKS.
Yeah, we've seen that with, Garcia and a number of other drivers before that as well, too. So, yeah, we've talked about it a number of times. Like Lucas Palacio was a perfect name that we kind of talked about. We were hoping he would stay in micro to be up there with like Woon and Gibson and them and be able to fight for a championship. But he's already doing that in mini this year. So, so it kind of ruined that path for him. So, but yeah, it'll be a good little battle. We'll see how things shake out again once we get everything reset in terms of the championship. But all in all, a good season for Woon to cap off his micro career.
Yeah, indeed. So if you want to get deep into this event, the final round of the United States Pro Kart Series, the Heartland Grand Prix, which will take place at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Make sure to listen live on ekartingnews.com/live. Follow all of David's reports, the Paddock Insider and the daily reports, of course, on the website itself. Make sure if you keep an eye on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we'll be able to give you the top 10s as they come. Lots of great stuff from behind the scenes through the Instagram and our Instagram story as well. And we'll use the hashtags, hashtag EKN at USPKS, hashtag Heartland Grand Prix, and hashtag NCMP. Great way to be able to search everything that we do throughout the entire weekend. David, final race of the year for USPKS. Any final thoughts?
No, just excited. I love championship weekend.
Yeah.
USPKS is one of those special ones. Again, we're wrapping up that 10th season for a program. I've been to nearly every single event throughout its inception. So it's kind of one of those close to the heart programs.
Yeah, indeed.
And again, just 7 different categories, going to have 7 different champions, or maybe even a double champion, as we talked with Max Garcia leading both of those categories going in. So overall, just, hopefully good dry weather all weekend long, and we have some good championship, aside from X30 Pro, some good championship battles all the way to the finals on Sunday.
As David had said, mid-80s throughout the weekend, very single-digit chance for potential rain. So it sounds like it's going to be a tremendous weekend at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Again, the Heartland Grand Prix taking place September 15th to 18th, this coming Thursday to Sunday. Again, what a great racetrack. It's going to make things exciting. The draft, of course, coming to play in all the categories. Make sure you tune into all the coverage on ekartingnews.com. Thank you so much for tuning, folks, into this edition of the OutLap. Episode 44 is done and dusted. My name's Rob Howden on behalf of David Cole. Bye for now.